is clear. You might want to jump in, jump out.
You care if I stream this on my channel, BBQ?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
The enhance thing, that's an interesting turn there. I hadn't thought about it.
Like, think of it like, you know, if you hit somebody, that's assault. But if you hit somebody with a knife, even if you don't stab them, that's going to be assault with a deadly weapon, right? It's an enhancement because you went that extra step. And in this case, you kind of, I wouldn't say you pre-planned, you know, to be intoxicated, but in a way you did. Kind of the way they say, like, you choose to lose control of your vehicle if you get into a vehicle while intoxicated, which is why they make it a crime. But in this case, I mean, driving isn't technically a right, but possessing a firearm is supposed to be. So trying to reconcile those two different perspectives.
Can I try bringing it back?
I'm wondering how big an issue it's going to be. Like, you know, if you do one of them deals where you put like all the people in this group are in a circle, all the people in this group are in a circle. So all the marijuana smokers are in a circle and all the gun owners are in a circle. Like, how does that overlap a shit ton, or does that just overlap like, you know, 20% or 25% or something? Like, I don't. I
think like Gary was saying earlier that there's a greater likelihood that there's more crossover than we know, because it's also one of those subjects it's kind of a verboten thing. Like, I've been in gun circles where it's cool to talk about weed. I've been in gun circles where it's like, if you brought that shit up, you need to be looking over your shoulder kind of thing. So
don't ask, don't tell, man. Pretty much.
Yeah, that really, and you know, Gary, that's a good point. Because it's one of those things where we're not always sure whether or not that person partakes, but we're also not sure about whether or not that person might be, you know, like consider themselves a mandatory reporter or something. It's an odd thing.
Well, I think part of it goes. Oh, go ahead.
Trying to bring it back to guns. So on the 4473, it has that line about, are you a legal drug user? Right. So I don't know about you guys, but 99% of all the stupidest shit I've done, I was drunk when I did it. Probably not on weed. I probably maybe had too many Cheetos. I think. Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it.
You're right.
Because we're stuck.
That drinks alcohol, but I've seen a lot of movies, and I suspect you're right.
Are we stuck with that old reefer madness kind of fucking mentality?
I think part of it is that, Woods. I think that, you know, I mean, cannabis psychosis is a joke. And thank you for bringing up reefer madness, because that's the way that people can identify that behavior doesn't exist, kind of thing. But to have Congress consider anything, to consider it to be dangerous at any level, that's where I think the problem is. That's the problem with classification. That's why it shouldn't be a Schedule 1 at all, because it's not dangerous at any level. There is therapeutic use. 10th Amendment, again, given entree to the states to say, well, go ahead.
I was just going to interrupt. Say, isn't it Schedule 3 now, technically?
Did I get the schedules wrong?
No, it's Schedule 3.
Scheduled.
I don't. It's on course to be Schedule 3. It's not actually switched yet.
Oh, I thought they already removed the scheduling on it.
Yeah, okay. I think they're going to, but I think there's like procedures that have to happen first.
And that's.
So, do you think Gunpowder Beauty's kidding when she says she doesn't know what the hell Reefer Madness is? Or do the youngins not know what Reefer Madness is?
They don't.
I don't have a clue what that is.
It's a film.
It was a movie from like the 50s and like the height of.
Earlier than that. Earlier than that.
The 20s. It's like an old black and white movie. It's like massive propaganda, and they made fun of it hardcore. Like during the Nancy Reagan turned into the war on drugs was at the 80s, and then that's when Reefer Madness was brought back to life. Is like, you know, like Nancy Reagan is like the new version of propaganda against, like, you know, all like bad things are the cause of drugs.
See, and propaganda,
and then you're gonna go murder people and eat babies and.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's like
it's
funny.
So terrible.
They smoke a cigarette of marijuana, get all weird, and like dance around and kill people, and then the cigarette falls on the ground, and like the next person picks it up and smokes it and starts killing people. It's pretty weird.
See, there was like 40 years between that film and 1968 or so, and there's been as much time that has passed now since then. I mean, I was born the year after that regulation kind of thing. So for my whole life, it's been a certain way. But for half of my life now, there have been states that have been considering it case by, initially as a case by case, as a therapy sort of thing. And it's gotten to the point where I don't think that you can have a conversation with anybody under 30 and have them not look at you a little side eye if you think that it should be prohibited. Like the change is happening through Gen X, is my belief. The hippies failed.
And the hesitation for changing is happening through a lot of extremely right-wing circles, in my experience anyway, from people I've talked to.
Is this the best example we have of changing the Overton window? And could we do the same thing with guns?
Ooh, I wish. I would have hope.
We have been shifting the Overton window pretty successfully. I mean, I think I said in one of these previous chats that one of my friends who's pretty left, he said he would never own a firearm, and I helped him get his first one. So, and he's very happy to have it.
So the weed has changed. The perception of weed has changed to where it's medical and then recreational, and now like everybody's comfortable with the concept of changing the schedulization so that it can be used as medical research and stuff. And then the consequences, like the legal consequences, don't have to be as harsh, so they don't have to be flooding the prisons and stuff with mandatory minimums and all that. So there's all of that has happened, and there was no NRA. I always say there's no NRA for weed. Like there was a couple of things that probably some organizations or publications or something, but there was no massive effort that everybody politicians just had to sign their name, right? Like this all happened as grassroots can be, I assume. And then because we're capitalists, there has to be some involvement with the companies that made all the money selling the weed legally now. So my question is, in that world where we live in, and we've had constitutional carry and in the concealed carry, we don't have to explain all that to us. So did the change in weed happen because so many people smoke weed that the politicians were like, it's a no-brainer, we're just going to lay off of weed and we're going to make it legal? Or was it just because enough people smoked weed that enough people knew those people to say, I'm not as scared of weed smokers, change these laws, it doesn't bother me? Because I think then it applies to gun owners. Do we have to wait till everybody owns a damn gun, or can we just monopolize on the idea that everybody knows somebody who owns a gun? And why can't we capitalize on that and be like, think of all the gun owners how many of them are weird? Maybe 2, and you probably know hundreds of gun owners or dozens or something. So how I don't know if I'm answering the question the right way, but the way that weed happened, is there anything we can learn from that for guns? I think that's the same thing Woods was asking.
I don't think it happens through either way, and then I'll pass it to Woods because it was about the money. That's the reason it changed state levels.
Wait,
Woods,
why?
go ahead. It was the money. It wasn't people.
Because they could give the weed money to the schools, you mean?
Well, because it would become taxable, because now you have dollars associated with it.
Yeah, well, I remember in Arizona at least, because it wasn't even the first state, but the way they sold it to Arizona after a number of times was look at Colorado, they make all these millions of dollars and they give it to the schools. The schools don't ask for nothing anymore, or don't want for anything. They have anything they want. So that was the big thing here.
I wish it was activism. I wish it was activism and groundswell that had created that, but no, it was dollars.
Oh, I see.
I think it's still the second thing. I still think it's that people know enough people that smoke weed, and they're normal people. I don't give a shit.
So then, and that wasn't weed smokers. I have to trim the weeds.
Well, weed smokers are probably less organized than gun owners.
That's what I'm saying.
It's effort
to promote that, right?
Right.
I wonder how did that get instigated? What DJ's saying, somebody figured out there was a way to make money, so they were like, oh,
I think it's just
weed smokers.
I think it's a little bit of Woods. I think it's a little bit of DJ. I think it was a fact, and mind you, folks, I've never touched this stuff. Never had an urge. So I could be completely fucking wrong here. But that being said, I think with what Woods was saying, oh, hey, I know Tom, Dick, or Harry that smokes weed and they're a perfectly fine person. Like, weed probably isn't that bad. And then after it becoming more accepted, I think at some point there were probably politicians that went, you know what? Yeah, it's not that bad. And, they probably experimented with it in college or whatever the hell. I mean, hell, you had the president of the United States, 12 years ago, go on national TV. He's like, yeah, I smoked the stuff in college.
Did inhale.
Wait,
Yeah.
you talking about Clinton, or are you talking about Obama? Obama said
Obama.
that he did because
Okay.
Clinton said he didn't.
I was talking about Clinton. Yeah. Well,
So
I don't disagree with Woods at all. I think that most definitely that there's a public awareness that didn't exist before. But having been a member of Normal since high school, it wasn't the way that I wish it was. It wasn't because we've been lobbying. It wasn't because we've been paying attention and forwarding to our legislators all the important information whereby they could introduce their political fellows to the same concept, sort of thing. Go ahead.
Or I'm going to interrupt. Say the other side of it, where it wasn't because Normal got a bunch of pot smokers off their ass to be like, let's show up at rallies and let's make our point clear.
Mm-hmm.
That happened. That would
well, part of the rallies that I've ever known about for pot smokers were always smoke-ins, which I was like, oh, that's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I said about that, and that has been a thing for, I think, since the beginning of time.
Oh yeah, since I've been since high school until now. I've been to like 10.
Has been, but I'll speak for Nebraska. That's not the way we did it in Nebraska.
I've heard of them though.
When I was in high school, it was probably getting close to my senior year, if not my senior year. There was a kid that had graduated and organized a smoke-in at the town square, and we were like, "Oh, that's dumb. Like that's not going to end well." And the city police just went and rounded up like 20 people.
Yeah,
it was like dumbasses. Like, I understand the idea and stuff, but
we have one here in Washington and Seattle about every 3 or 4 years. There's probably 5,000 people. The cops don't do a damn thing.
Like a rally for
marijuana.
They just smoke it. They just get together and smoke, but it's Seattle, so like they do all kind of lefty shit. Like that's not
way different. Yeah.
Well, there's that in the fact, like you said, like 5,000 people compared to 20. So,
probably one of the most, non-violent protests there's ever been.
So, but I'd like to focus back on the court case.
My joint, but then he gave me 3 joints, so there was no hard feelings.
So, like I said, I'd like to focus back on the court case itself, though. Some of the arguments that were, or questions, however you want to look at them, that were posed.
Before they did these formal arguments, they passed around a bunch of bongs so that the justices would be familiar with the situation.
I would have passed out brownies.
And
brownies would have been.
So they could go shooting right away after.
So, there were some good questions that were asked. A couple of things, like, we were talking about the scheduling. And here's one of the big things about the scheduling. This is where, we could see anti-gun justices that, because of their political leanings, would kind of be in favor of Hamani in the marijuana stuff, also going his way on this because, again, the scheduling. And the thing is, back when Congress made the scheduling, there was literally nothing ever done to sit there and say, these drugs make somebody a danger. And that is a huge thing in this case, whether people realize it or not, and like people spit on the Rahimi case all the time, but this is where the Rahimi case actually comes back and helps us, because in the Rahimi case, using the NYSERPA v. Bruin decision, and then they expanded on it saying if you are somebody that is a danger to society or yourself, then you could be disarmed, whether it be for a period of time or indefinitely. But the problem is Congress never looked at any of these drugs that are scheduled as making somebody a danger. They just went, these are bad. So that's one thing that could and probably will play a factor in having this prohibition struck down. As Woods was mentioning earlier, I believe it was Gorsuch that was like, hey, our founding fathers drank a lot. Like they were basically functioning alcoholics. Would we restrict them and say they can't have firearms? That's a hell of an argument to kick off with.
In the article, they talk about one of the Justice Acts is if they're a habitual drunkard, does that mean they can't defend themselves for their life?
Ooh, that's nice. Which
So
justice?
I don't remember. I'd have to look back
That's
at
cool.
it.
I found a picture from the news. If you want to put it on the screen, it has a lot of important information from the news.
Give me 1 second here. Some other things that were raised. I'm trying to think of this off the top of my head right now because we have been all over at this point.
I have a point to make about Rahimi, if you want to think.
What's that?
That it bases it on a credible threat for a limited time. And that's important. I think that's the key for the implication of Rahimi into this. Credible threat, limited time. I don't think that would any of us argue against that. I mean, if you're a credible threat for this amount of time, that's what we're going to prosecute. That's how we're going to, that's how jurisprudence is going to intervene here on society's behalf. Otherwise, without Rahimi, you've got, again, a blanket ban. And you can't have a blanket ban on a right.
Exactly. Agreed.
I like the chips and the pizza.
This is how it went down.
Maybe not the pizza.
Like the bottle of whiskey, red solo cup.
Yep.
So,
Red Solo cup. I fill you up. Sorry, channeling my inner Toby Keith.
That's all right. So for anybody that really paid attention to the arguments in this case, the things that were asked by justices, etc., what kind of outcome do you see? And knowing that there's a makeup of 9 judges, how do you see this being voted? Is it going to be a 9-0 decision? Is it going to be a 5-4 one way or the other? What are we looking at? What do you think?
9-0. They're done. Just on their questions. All of them had questions. They were like, how's that different than a drunkard? All of them. Every one of them.
Yeah, too many questions for there not to be a sound and obvious decision. I agree.
I will third that motion.
Somebody said 6-3, but I don't know enough to know who they,
So
might be.
My concern is the ones that are always for giving more federal power. And this just seems a way to give more federal power to deny rights.
Plus, it's a bad dude, right? So they
how is it?
Why would I want to help this guy? He's a bad dude.
How is it giving more federal power to deny rights? Rights are already being denied with this. So if they
were allowing,
to affirm the government's argument, basically,
to double down on the bullshit,
and say, so how else do you defeat it? Even if you got a Congress critter or a senator to introduce something that would eliminate this subsection, you don't have the votes in either building to get rid of it. You wouldn't have the 60 votes in the Senate, and if it got voted on party lines in Congress, fine, you get through Congress, but that's it.
Why do you speak with such surety about there not being enough
Yeah,
in
like,
either the House or Congress?
you're saying like
Well, what do you base that on?
The makeup of the parties. Look at how they vote on most everything. Most everything is voted on party lines anymore, which is disgusting. Now, part of that, I'm like, I like gridlock. You know, we've got what? How many? I've heard the number before. The amount of laws that are on the books is just absolutely insane. That's just at the federal level. That doesn't count your state and local governments either. So the idea that we need to add more or anything, I remember a decade ago, a decade and a half, they were talking about how this was the most ineffective House of Representatives that we've ever had because they had only passed X amount of bills. And I'm like,
I think it's far more nonpartisan. Like out of all of the issues, I mean, I know which party is likely to oppose, but I think I think marijuana. I think this issue is about as nonpartisan as you can get. Everybody has a grandma with glaucoma or cancer patient or a high school friend.
We're not talking about medical use. We're not talking about for medical use. We're talking about taking away a prohibition that makes Americans a felon if they violate that law. And unfortunately,
you're saying that if the justices, or assuming the justices all vote against this, or
no, I'm saying because the argument was, well, if they vote against this, then it affirms the law. So I'm saying, let's say this never materialized. How else do we change it? We would have to get a Congress critter or a senator to.
If the judges all said
no, I'm not saying.
Then it went to the Supreme Court, when it went to the House or whatever, and they had to have the 60% to override the judges. You're saying, how would you get like a grassroots effort off the ground to do something about this out of nowhere? Yeah, you're right. Like,
I think that the grassroots has already existed, and I think that an easy parallel to draw, and what I would suggest is it's about the same as constitutional carry. Once you get a preponderance of the states, you're going to have sway over those states with the except for the absolute holdouts, and then it would have to be federal. But if you get enough states agreeing that this is right, it has the potential to flip federal law.
Which is
so I think that way,
medical and recreational so far.
Yeah, I think that's the next logical step.
We have nearly 3/5 of the states saying, "Yep, constitutional carry is the thing," and we still can't get federal law for even a national reciprocity, let alone a constitutional carry bill.
You're right, but that just would stretch out. The purpose is not to stretch out the argument or the intention there. It's to you asked how to do it. Well, that's what I tried to suggest. I mean, I don't disagree with the point that you make further, but I don't know. Is anybody else suggested a way?
You ready for my tinfoil hat theory?
Go, buddy.
Okay. So if they make weed more legal, and this probably isn't the case for that, then does Marlboro take over weed?
Oh yeah.
There's big money involved here.
Yep.
Big money. Guess what? Both teams take a lot of big money from corporations like Marlboro. Be like, hey, we want this law change. Just make it not illegal anymore, and we'll make Marlboro branded cigarettes that have weed in them. Yay for us! Look how many we're swell. Yay for us! Go team.
I don't think so, because they still do make cigarettes, but RJR and the other companies bought food a long time ago, whenever tobacco started being a shit, getting attacked all the time. So they're still huge companies. I just don't think they give a shit. They might because they can, but I think they've learned their lesson. And I'm just thinking that they're not the only ones with money, because you got like Hollywood and you got all that, like, I got $1 billion, I got $14 billion, or I know 5 people with $14 billion type of an environment with weed, and you didn't have that with cigarettes. Maybe you did have that with cigarettes, I don't know. But I just think that there's more potential players in marijuana. Plus, from what I think I understand, the big money in marijuana originally in the United States came from Canada, because they got like old big money in marijuana.
Well, I'm not disagreeing that it's just cigarettes. I was just using that as an example. Somebody with a lot of money is going to make a lot of money if they can get them legal, and then mass
It
produced.
sounds like that's what happens every single time. Every time I bring it up with people who know what they're talking about, like, yeah, like the marijuana legality or recreationally or medically that exists now is like big money, like what DJ was saying.
Well,
Like,
and I don't think that the
companies
tobacco lobby is anywhere near as powerful as it once was. I mean, that industry is in the shitter comparatively.
like I said, it
Hence
sounds like
why I want.
RJR
Hence
and
why I
everybody
think they
left
would do it.
tobacco laying there. They left
Oh.
the direct farmers.
As a way to get a second life. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Have those
'cause
boys
RJR
start
bought
growing weed.
Nabisco. RJR, right?
I can see
RJR, the tobacco company, RJ Reynolds, they bought Nabisco in like the 80s when they were getting wailed on. They all like all the tobacco companies, the owners of tobacco bought food, so they own all of the food we're eating. I don't think they, unless they feel like it, I don't think they have.
But people are smoking less cigarettes now.
Far less.
Less and less all the time.
A long time ago.
They got to
only
come up with a
promote
new product.
They make billions and trillions internationally on food. They don't care about cigarettes. They might own cigarettes because like they used to, and why not?
So when do we get the ad saying only real men smoke marijuana cigarettes?
You don't see anybody trying to make cigarettes a bigger thing or like rejuvenate cigarettes. They've left that behind. So I just don't see them.
Well, I think you're all fixated on the smoking of the product. There are so many ways. It's kind of like nicotine. There's so many ways that it's dispensed nowadays. Same way with
Chocolate
marijuana
bars.
products. That's passe to think the only way to take it's to smoke it.
That's
No,
true. I've heard you can put it in a gummies candy nowadays.
I mean, vape stores would go
I've never met
crazy if
anybody
that
that's
stuff
eaten a
was
gummy
legal.
candy
Come on,
with
man.
marijuana in it, but I've heard it by watching it on TV.
Well, and Gary, based on things in your state, there's going to be, that's what helped, but the
not anymore. That stuff.
Yeah,
gone,
by the end of the year, that's
it's
gone. So
gone.
all the other products that you're mentioning that use extracts from the production of hemp, I mean, that's going away too.
Yeah,
so I'm
gone.
kind of warming up to Woods' idea. Like, where's the big money play right now? Because most everybody that got into the green revolution is their asses are being handed to them now, because of they're rescinding the hemp thing.
Right.
So
we're people who could benefit from the medicinal benefits, but you're just kind of, well, are you in the right state or are you not in the right state? Otherwise, you're kind of screwed. So.
Well, wait, what are you guys talking about? Like talking about the making products out of hemp or the making products out of marijuana? Because it's two separate things.
The hemp extracts. Because that's where you get that.
They're kind of cousins of each other, okay?
No, they're separate things, because in states that said marijuana is legal for medical or recreational purposes, they grow marijuana. And in states that you can grow hemp in, since you can pretty much have always grown hemp is the paper or the material, the one you make products out of. They've figured out that in the states that don't have medical or recreational marijuana, you can still sell hemp with
not in my state you can't anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm splitting the hair. Like, if you're talking about that, like that people that were complying with the law by selling hemp, they were told you can't anymore, but the marijuana is still marijuana. So now it'll go back to the states that have recreational marijuana will still be able to have recreational marijuana all they want. And the states that were utilizing the compliance with doing it with hemp are going to pressure their states to do medical marijuana again.
Good luck in my state. That's not going to happen soon.
It is going to be pressure again, is all I'm saying.
We've tried.
The legislatures.
And while I understand that it's a new era for that, G-Webs, and that there is the opportunity to reapply pressure, like Gary saying, not in my state, and I live in the one just above him, it's agricultural states for the most part that were participating in the revived hemp industry. And now with that removed, these states don't have the population, nor do they have the base that really wants those things. I mean, there are those of us who do, but nowhere near the numbers. I mean, 20 to 1.
I don't disagree. It's the same situation with.
We just got Sunday beer sales like 5 or 6 years ago around here. Come on, man.
Well, I know. I mean, they didn't make Footloose because they came up with it out of nowhere. I mean, they understand that the people have different opinions in different parts of the country or whatever. But all I'm saying is that, like, that aspect didn't change the whole playing field. It only changed a chunk of the playing field, and I'm saying the consequence is that there's going to be more pressure again. And I'm not saying there's going to be a consequence of that pressure, because obviously it hasn't gone through yet in those states. I'm guessing, I don't know what the states are. I'm guessing the states don't line up at all with the gun states. Like the states that hold out on medical and recreational marijuana have nothing to do with the states that are anti-gun, right? Like,
are we just giving up to try to fight this at the federal level? Because it seems like to me it might be the only way to go for some of us, because we're waiting on our states. Some of us may just be screwed.
Are we talking about guns or marijuana?
Well,
Or
marijuana and
Both.
well, no, because we have. I mean, Pat, come on,
we
we're
got good gun
Nebraskans.
laws here. I mean, come on, man. We're in the Midwest.
If you got rid of the laws at the federal level on recreational and medical marijuana, or medical and recreational marijuana, I guess the way I say it, then that would I would think that would open up interstate, and that would allow states that are fertile to grow the shit out of stuff. And just the same way,
I'll bet this
back
ass state would figure a way to keep it out of here somehow.
See, and I feel the same way about Nebraska, because we already passed stuff last term to one step closer to legalization, and now they're miring it down in its regulation. And so that's going to stretch it out years and years from now, where it was supposed to have already been instituted. They already worked into, the senators were smart enough to work in that all of this had to be figured out, how the state was going to administer it by the time they would have the potential to pass a law, and they just completely fumbled that. I think intentionally, because they know they could just drag it out into another session and another session and another session and never grant the right that we voted for.
Is weed something like, if they made it legal in Kansas or Oklahoma or Nebraska or one of those states where you have farms, like Illinois or something? I think Iowa also, right? One of those farm states where you have like fields. Is it the kind of thing? Well, it is, because didn't they grow in World War II into hemp? By the way, can you grow it in a field, or does it need to be like wine or something where the rocky shores and the hills and shit are better?
You can grow it anywhere.
In Washington, you cannot. From seed to product, it has to be under a camera at all times, and they weigh it, and it's very regulated.
Oh, you mean legally? I guess I was thinking more like as a crop. Like, does it grow good? I've never seen anybody grow.
It grows everywhere. It grows easily everywhere. It is its namesake, a weed.
I mean, I've never known
good weed grow everywhere.
Marijuana,
terrible weed grows in the ditch. That's
in Oklahoma, where it's legal, there's literal farms that have cropped up, man. Big farms.
I have a complaint to the council. I tried to post a comment, and I said I believe romantic partners should be allowed to defend their hempsteads with automatic grenade launchers, and it says that it failed to post to gun websites and barbecues channel. I am unbelievably outraged.
That's StreamYard for you. Well, it's a
so much for two-way chat.
Please send all complaints to gorn@gizzardgary.com.
Yeah, Gizzard's set up all my tolerance policies, so I apologize.
I'll set up an auto forward to your address. Pretty easy to do.
So, well, real quick, going back to the justices on this case, how I could see it falling. Theoretically, I could see a 9-0 decision. I don't think that's going to happen. Here's why. Alito and Roberts are super anti-drug. Whether we believe that marijuana is a drug or not, Alito, super old. He definitely does. And Roberts, he's going to go with the old school thinking that this is a drug. So then we have the matter of, what do they like more? Which is the lesser evil form? Do they like 2A more, or do they dislike marijuana more? Alito, I think, is probably going to be a coin flip. Roberts, most likely voting against what's his face? I've got Rahimi stuck in my head now.
You wrote the meme. What's the girl?
I know now. I'm thinking Hermione, her, whatever the frig his name is, but Hareem or something like that. But anyways, then we have the three quote unquote liberal justices that we have to take into account. Do they again also go with the party thoughts and vote pro drugs in this case, if you want to look at it that way, or do they go with the party and vote like, no, we don't like guns? Like, that's a real possibility. However, do they actually look at this on what the case is? And that's one of the things that's been nice about this case is they didn't look at any of the other BS with this guy. They kept it, the task at hand. And that was, he was like, yeah, I smoke marijuana every few days, and they're like, should that make him a bad person? Should that make him prohibited? So those three justices, if you go with how they ask their questions, I think we get a favorable outcome from them. But there have been instances of justices who ask questions as a devil's advocate. And then you're like, man, that justice is voting this way. That's awesome. And then they write their dissent and you're like, what the frick?
Yeah, I don't remember which one, but I remember that a couple of times where they sounded like they gave a shit. They're asking like really good questions from a positive or like a objective point of view, and then they still voted like assholes.
Yep. So Clarence Thomas.
So did you watch all of it or no?
I've caught bits and pieces. I've watched.
Or I guess I should say, can you only listen to it, or do they have video in there?
Let's say I didn't see video.
Okay.
Clarence
so then the
Thomas.
next question is, just before I forget, you mentioned that they were kind of questioning from the marijuana side, and like, if you're whatever, high or intoxicated or whatever. Any of them ask questions from like the gun side, like, well, what if you only own one gun? What if your gun is in a safe? And like, what if your gun is at home and you're smoking marijuana at the concert? Were there any questions like from the gun side, or was it all from the marijuana side?
So some of that was argued. And it's just like, yeah, there is some historical precedent to say like, hey, you're drunk out here right now and you present a danger. We're disarming you for the night. But it wasn't a lifetime prohibition. But with
or like
that,
you're walking into this courtroom, you're taking your gun off, and when you leave, you get your gun back.
In a sense, to say, but with that, they were going back to those historical analogs. That was saying like, this person's drunk, they're a danger to themselves or society, and we're disarming them for the evening, or whatever the case was. And then you have to go back to again when the scheduling for all these drugs was done. Congress never sat there and went, we're scheduling these ways because they make people dangerous. That was never done. So, and that's one of the reasons, like I said before, I think we see several of the quote unquote liberal justices that kind of have no other choice but to vote pro 2A on this, even if they didn't want to, because they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Now Clarence Thomas asked like the least questions, but I think he's about as originalist as they get on the Supreme Court at this point. So I would see him going the 2A route. I'm trying to think of a couple other justices we have left. Barrett and Kavanaugh. Barrett, with her line of questioning, again, she seemed like, yep, I am voting for Raheem. And see, there's the guy's name, folks, Raheem. No, that was, never mind. Fuck, I still can't remember it. Anyways, god dang it.
It's not
At
Raheem
least
either.
you're remembering
Hareem.
people that are in the
Hareem.
Supreme Court realm.
Hermione.
Whatever. Thank you. I'm just combining all kinds of names now. Whatever. But it is Hermione. So Hermione, excuse me. So anyways, Barrett again seemed like she is going to go the way of Hermione on this. But again, like, she's one of those wild cards where she seems like, hey, she's gonna go 2A and, you know, rights. And then, you know, with some of the stuff she was saying, it was like, well, you know, Congress later on could go back and be like, yeah, this is dangerous. Like, there's nothing that stops them from enacting a law later on if they want. So seems like she's gonna vote for Hermione in this, but she leaves the door open for Congress to go and rewrite the statute later on, essentially.
Would you say that we're all weed leaf reading right now?
That's right.
I have a question. Do you think that from listening to it and from the questions and stuff, do these judges think this is a case about a weed person owning a gun, or is it a question of a gun person smoking weed?
I like that.
There's a difference, but I'm wondering if what the justices think.
One of the notes that I made.
It's a firearms owner that occasionally indulges in marijuana.
So this is a Second Amendment, 100%, and whether or not it's not a weed thing, and now is weed good because of the Second Amendment?
Yes.
Well, nothing's 100%.
Theoretically,
I don't know if it makes a big difference. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I just thought it would be an interesting angle.
No, that is a good point there. Like I said, Kavanaugh, I think he goes and votes in the way of Hermione, but I think he would be very narrow with his opinion as well. So honestly, like I said, theoretically, with the way the questions were asked, everything like that, could we see a 9-0 decision in favor of Hermione? Yes. I really think it could be 7-2, maybe a 6-3. And one of those is, I think, because you've got Alito that very well could be like, marijuana, no, and vote against Hermione and vote for the government in this. I really think Roberts is just a solid lock again to vote in favor of the government. And so with all that, again, we got the 3 liberal justices. And theoretically, let's say they went, hey, we hate guns more than we like marijuana. Then depending on how Alito and Roberts vote, we very well could see a 5-4 loss.
That's kind of what I guess I was asking, is like, if they're like, oh, this is a gun owner's case. Well, hey, I hate gun owners, even though I like the idea of people being able to smoke their weed. I hate gun owners more.
I think it'd be great to be able. It'd be fun to be able to ask each justice. And one of the things I wrote down in notes is this about guns or drugs?
Let's say, and honestly, then you bring Barrett back into it. Let's say it sways where it's like, oh, it's a 5-4 loss. You could see Barrett go in favor of the government still, because it seems like she does that more often than not. And then it's a 6-3 loss.
Now I have a question for the whole panel.
Beyond the loss or the win, I'm actually really curious about how they craft, the writing of their decision to see what the second and third effects are going to be for, like, say somebody lost their rights due to, having a DWI or something. they could possibly fight it after this.
Who's writing the majority opinion?
We won't know that until it's come out. I mean, they literally just heard the arguments. So
yeah, but sometimes they do pre-assign who's going to write those. Sometimes
they don't ever leak that until. I shouldn't say they don't ever leak it, but because it's so early in the session, they're going to hear all the cases, and then a lot of times it's dependent on, well, the vote's going to go this way, so we're going to let this justice write this, we're going to let this justice write this one, et cetera, et cetera.
Are you saying they try to give people what's like in their wheelhouse, or like we think it's going to go this way, so we want this guy because he can enunciate it clearest, or do we know?
I think part of it is,
or is it just random? Like it's your turn.
I don't think it's so much random as much as one who already has stuff on their plate that they're having to write the opinion on, who had really strong feelings about this, who was more neutral or anything like that. I think there's a lot that plays into it. I don't think they're passing around the hat and pulling slips out and like, oh darn it, I got the Hamani case.
The assignment, I had to look it up. The assignment happens only after the preliminary vote, and if the Chief Justice is in the majority, they assign the author of the majority opinion. If they're in the minority, the most senior justice in the majority assigns who it is going to author the opinion. I was wrong.
Oh, interesting.
So
it is sort of a structure, not like they sit around and decide. It's not like they sit around and figure out who the person who's supposed to be doing it is. I got a question for everybody.
What's up?
So I had a question. Since there's 7 of us in here, I'm going to answer because I didn't listen to anybody else. I vaguely seen some people's titles, but my question would be, of the people on the panel and people watching out there, did you watch any other commentary about this? Like some videos or live shows about this? And if so, what are those commentators saying about what's happening?
I've watched a lot of legal scholars on it. I don't know, probably 4 or 5 different channels. Arm Scholar was not one of them. That guy kind of annoys me. It's just his delivery.
The Supreme Court farted. Here's how it's good for gun rights.
I watched a couple lawyers that like sat down and they brainstormed and literally discussed it between each other, like I like this, I like that, blah blah blah.
Like regular lawyers or gun lawyers?
Gun lawyers.
Minnesota gun law. I think
Minnesota.
they did one.
Packrat out there says, Packrat said Mark Smith from Four Boxes Diner says it'll be 6-3.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
In the chat.
What's your problem with Mark Smith?
We've talked about it in the past.
Oh, I don't recall what it is.
I can tell you later if you're still curious.
Doesn't make him not right.
Did he steal your girlfriend?
Nope.
So anyways,
comment.
What's up?
How am I missing comment or his comment? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, Four Boxes Diner has done several videos on this. Washington Gun Law dropped one today, I think it was. Who are some of the other ones that I'm trying to think of right now?
Are they like conclusive, or are they just talking about it happening?
As far as what they believe is going to happen, they're all, I would say, thinking we're going to have a favorable outcome from this case. I think Four Boxes Diner is the most, if you want to say negative Nancy, of the bunch. But I think he's being most realistic. Like these are the things that we could potentially see happen, unfortunately. But then he'll follow up with like, but with X, Y, or Z, and I believe it was Pack Rat. You guys said that Four Boxes is predicting a 6-3. He has mentioned a 5-4 even, but in favor of Hamani. I'm thinking probably a 7-2, maybe a 6-3.
But isn't this kind of like betting on the Super Bowl?
It is. I actually thought about being like, so who wants to take betting odds on this?
If you set the odds, man, I'll play some bets, especially on your 6-3.
Right?
Yep.
I'll bet some marijuana.
Are the odds anything like 4-20?
Ooh, nice.
It might be. They might be. But yeah, I'm thinking, like I said, Roberts, there's no way. And then Alito, flip a coin, and then just saying one of the quote-unquote liberal justices votes for the government as well, and that's where I'm getting my 7-2. Like I said, flip the coin for Alito. That gives you the possible 6-3, I think.
So is this one of those things they're talking about it now, like deciding what they're going to do, and then months from now it happens?
Yeah, this will come out, probably, I think in July.
What, government things will be slow? Weird.
Right? Well, the thing is because they're hearing arguments on a bunch of other cases that they've accepted for this session. So after they hear all those arguments, then they'll go back and be like, all right, so, blah, blah, blah.
It'd be great if they gave the decision in time for July 4th.
Yeah.
For the 250th. Well, it's not the 250th, July 4th, I guess. But it would be a big July 4th, right?
Oh, yeah. Hard to believe this is the 250 year, and like you almost never hear people mention that. That's a far bigger deal than people are allowing it to be. Yeah,
they can't because of Trump, right? They can't let it be a big deal this year. Even I don't know even if it was Kamala, do you think it would be a big deal? Because then the other side would be like, well, it's Kamala. So if they did this ruling, if they had any respect, they would do it by the 20th of next month.
Yeah, by April.
Right. Well, so there's one other thing that we haven't really discussed here, and that's, do they do a broad stroke of the pen and wipe this out, or do they tailor it very narrow and limit it as much as possible?
What can they do? I thought they can just rule on it.
Well, I say a lot of times the Supreme Court, well, look at the Rahimi case, for example. Let's say that went the other way. They could have just said, this only applies to Mr. Rahimi. So everything thereafter is a case-by-case basis that would have to be scrutinized. Likewise, again, saying that the Rahimi case had gone the other way and he had won, they could have just said, yeah, no, it's not constitutional to restrict somebody's rights for a civil matter. So you can get a very broad decision, or you can get a very narrowly tailored decision that does almost nothing.
Barbecue. I'm going to bring this up to the screen right now. This is from Vanessa Kitty. I think there's a possibility that they ban any drug use for weapons bearing. Then everyone will be disarmed. Wow. Hadn't thought about that. That's a thought-provoking statement.
Well, not just drugs though, but think about it like, again, how they word it. Is it any substance that can alter your mind? I mean, that just goes even further towards proving Vanessa's point.
Where are you getting any substance that alters your mind?
What is a drug if not something that alters your mind?
Yeah, that's why they're going to say drugs and alcohol. That's the whole like definite that part of the definition.
But my point is, there's nothing that's written in law like that.
Have to be written in law if it's their opinion.
Yes, it does.
No,
not necessarily.
How not? That's part of the reason we're having this argument right now is because the Rahimi case and NYSERPA v. Bruin, both of those precedents alone make it where like, oh, hey, Congress didn't look at these and go, they could make somebody dangerous. Like, this whole thing could fall based on that.
It's weird, man. Like every new, like I would be concerned that then there will be like testing protocols for every new pharmaceutical and any bastardized pharmaceutical and if you rub this into your belly under a blazing noon sun, it'll get you wasted or something like that.
Well,
I think regulation, the government loves to regulate.
That's part of the fun thing here is, was it Roberts? I believe it might have been Roberts that got frustrated during this whole thing and said, what, are we going to have to hear, a bunch of cases on every single drug then?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to say, but we shouldn't have something that says, oh, well, if you use this or that, you're a prohibited person, because then that brought up another argument of whether, like with Rahimi, there was established case with him where he had already pled guilty, admitted to the crimes that he did, and then he still went out and violated the law as it was currently. With Hamani, he's done nothing wrong. His house got raided, and then he's like, yeah, I smoke weed every few days.
His house got raided under suspicion of a crime, right? And I don't know if he ever got accused of the crime, but while he was being investigated for potentially being accused for some other crime, they find these two items and decide persecution based on possession of two different items based on whatever this is, 922G.
Yeah. And so, like I said, it brings up
now.
What's that?
The questioning that we've been thinking about it is from like the gun side and then gun owner who smokes weed. I'm wondering if the judges, when they do this, sort of what Vanessa Kitty I think said, but I'm going to say it a different way. What are the consequences if they go with one puff of a marijuana joint, reefer madness? From then on, you're a felon. You're a marijuana user, habitual or not, because it's illegal. So therefore, you can never own a gun again. If that's the case, what would be the ramifications of that? What's the consequences of that, right? Like now there has to be some kind of DNA test, and they determine through your social media and through your contacts, like, well, you've hung out with 7 people who smoked marijuana for more than an hour. There's a good chance we better do another test on you. Like, oh, you were with someone for 45 minutes who's a known marijuanaist, so you better take a quick test to make sure you're not a marijuana influenced. You know what I mean? Like, at what point is there an obligation to the federal government, or you know what I mean? Like, they have to put up lockers because they decided you can't have guns in certain places, and for that to happen, they have to put in lockers. So if they're going to say one puff and you're a thing, what are the consequences? So I'm just going down a tangent of like nonsense, I guess, but to try to illustrate the craziness that could come out of a decision, right? But what my question is, when the judges are talking to each other and asking the different defendants and whatever, are they thinking about it from the consequences also, or just from the like theoretical, is this right or wrong? Because like, let's say they all think theoretically this is wrong, so therefore we're going to vote this way, and then wipe our hands of it. But then in reality, chaos ensues because they just made this impossible to enforce law. Or do they look at it like, if we vote this way, we're making it impossible to enforce law, and we're basically creating chaos in the world. So therefore, I don't think we should vote this way. Like, do they ever think about that end of it?
They have to be considering the implications.
That way, say, yeah. Do they do that then? Okay.
So there's a reason that we have, excuse me, sorry, the appeals process the way we do. And we just in past years, recently, we've seen where groups or the government themselves gets antsy and they're like, hey, we want to bypass the circuit court and the en banc and all that, but we want to go straight to the Supreme Court, and they go and petition the Supreme Court to do so. And then the Supreme Court's like, no, you're going to go through the proper channels. You're going to go and go to the federal appeals court. You're going to face a 3-judge panel. You're going to go to the en banc, because all of those steps gather, theoretically, all the information that these justices need to know when they, vote to take a case, and after that are going to hear the oral arguments, because they go back and look at all those case notes and how the en banc panel, how the 3-judge panel, how the district judge, how everybody made their decisions and why. And like, they look at all that and read all that. And that's how they formulate some of their questions. Now, as far as if we see this vote go the government's way, I don't think we see much of a change of anything, other than the fact that it just further solidifies this subsection. I don't foresee the government going like whole hog, going, oh, hey, you took one pill. Like, one, they've got to prove that. I'm going to say, I think it remains just status quo after that then. Oh, right. Ruin the chat.
Chat ruiner.
I'm reading some of the comments, like, would it apply to alcohol? Or, whatever they come up with.
Well, theoretically it should, because with the way it's written, I believe it does say of an illegal substance. So, because alcohol is not an illegal substance, however, abusing it is. And it does ask, are you unlawful user or addicted to? Like I said, that's why I think this becomes a thing. I believe the exact wording is of an illegal substance, which then alcohol doesn't apply because it's not illegal. But
is it illegal substance alone, or is it any regulated substance? Because I should know this, because I just filled out a 4473, but I didn't pay attention.
If you switch over, I have a dissenting image also. Slightly different because of dissenting.
And it does apply to regulated substances, man.
Is that the way it's on the 4473 now?
I was just answering Cobalt.
Does that include sniffing glue too?
Well,
it's an intoxicant.
The thing is, if it applies to regulated substances, to say alcohol is regulated, then it would apply. But like I said, if you look at the 4473, I do believe it says illegal, not regulated. And
So
words
as
matter.
long as I just chug, if I chug jugs of kombucha tea, I'd be okay.
Jugs of what?
Kombucha.
Kombucha tea. That
Okay,
shit.
I thought I heard something else. I was like, what the fuck?
I just looked it up. It does say controlled substance.
Oh, controlled substance. Okay.
And I believe alcohol is somewhat of a controlled substance, isn't it?
An unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance.
Gotcha.
Alcohol is by definition a depressant.
But not a controlled substance.
Not a controlled substance. So.
Or not on the schedule of controlled substances. The substance itself is controlled through taxation and other things, so let's not go into the weeds on that shit.
But it does. It also says drug there, correct?
Stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance.
Yep. So caffeine.
Under stimulant. Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
we're
basically,
seeing
unless you're a
states that
Mormon-
are actually.
But because coffee is legal, it doesn't apply.
Yeah, I doubt that coffee is scheduled.
It's not.
It's depressant, scheduled stimulant, right? These are scheduled, probably.
See, and like a lot of the psych meds aren't scheduled and do not even think about trying to regulate based on those things now, because the population percentage that is on or has been on some psychotropic is fucking huge compared to 1968.
Right.
I mean, it's not even close.
They have been trying to move that way. I've heard plenty of arguments from supposedly pro-gun or pro-2A people saying people with medications that control, your mind and stuff like that, even if prescribed, should not own guns.
That'd be like at times maybe half of the OPD of our police force. Antidepressants, other things. I mean, whoosh.
So, why do you guys think that if a decision was made that favored the government, that we would see things worsen, like just beyond our wildest imaginations, and that it wouldn't just stay the way it is?
Not palpably. I don't think there'd be much change. There'd be some like whining and crying kind of thing. There'd be some people who don't want to accept. There'd be a whole bunch of people who are happy that somebody finally did. But I don't think it'd change all that appreciably. Already socially, we've accepted it. We're talking about the law, though. And there's a huge distinction to be made in what most recreational users would consider.
Most lay people don't really give a rat's.
Agree. And if our representatives were representing the people and what they wanted, yep. Crony capitalism sucks. Woods is right.
Yep.
Big tobacco. Yep.
So, we have any more on this one?
Well, I think my take on it is similar to what I kind of started with. That is there anything that we can learn as gun owners from, I don't know, the weed part of it, and then is there allies here? I don't know. Is there like there was a time, maybe 5 years ago? It's hard to remember anymore. Maybe 2018, 19, when activism, Second Amendment activism, was super. At least we were focused on it, and those just seem to be. I mean, I think there was more. I don't think I'm just missing like a massive amount of Second Amendment activism that's going on out there. I think there was more of it, and I just chose to hang out with you guys, and we were all aware of like the major things and the things that we were interested in, but we knew there was other things out there. But there are things out there, but they're focused on area of interest, or like the female stuff, or in different regions and stuff. But some of the stronger stuff is still going, but there's nowhere near as much volume of activism and stuff. So at a time when there was more activism, I think we could have had some, I don't know what to call it, like crossover or some like, you know what I mean? Like, so we could have learned something from and like potentially gained eyes and ears like allies. Because like the two streams are crossing, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we are gaining allies, just not in the way that we expected it to happen.
And there's something else too, and I thought about this whenever I was traveling one time, I think, because I was traveling through Colorado and I either met somebody or we had a discussion and something came up about, I think it was when I was traveling with Bob, and we started, I think maybe when we were just bullshitting off air, maybe we were on air, I don't know, it was a long time ago, but the idea that the I think it's still like this, the marijuana stores or whatever they're called, the place where you buy the shit, is all cash only, right? So they have to have basically security and everything hanging around because they got so much cash all the time. And where's that line drawn with this whole thing? You know what I mean? And obviously nobody goes pushing that, but there's got to be some weird situation where somebody's probably carrying around a shit ton of weed with guns because, you know what I mean? Like,
it's dispensaries and it's illegal. Yeah. It leaves them unable to defend their businesses, basically.
Legally, right? Like kind of right. So that's messed up. So, you know, where does that snap? Or I don't even know where I was going with all that, but I think I was saying, like, you know, do we have allies there? Because like we talk about like making marijuana from recreational to from medical to recreational, a lot of that is money. You know, companies that are like, oh, instead of making a house with plants in it, I can buy a warehouse with plants in it. Sign me up, I'll pay for that, because they know that that's wheelbarrows of cash, right? So again, like that's some money, that's wheelbarrows of cash every day coming from all these marijuana stores. You would think they'd be all about, you know, here's a wheelbarrow of cash, like make that legal, let my guys be able to be near weed with guns, because, you know, you won't let me use a bank. So anyway, I was just thinking, like, you know what I mean? Like, because these things are touching, maybe we do have some allies, not just the, like what I was saying, say before, like however many weed smokers own guns or gun owners smoke weed. You know, I don't know what that number is, 25%, 10%, 100%, 0%, right? Whatever that number is, we could get the allies of the companies that are like making a ton of money and can't use banks.
Just realize every time you lose a roadblock, you're going to gain an intermediary in the process. Once the state makes it legal, then they're going to try to figure out how to make money off of it, because they can. There's taxation dollars in there.
So they kind of have to, probably too, because they all of a sudden are going to have.
Oh, and they'll justify it as for education, you know, for awareness and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, state tax, local tax. Well, if it ever goes federal tax. It'll be regulated, which could be a bad thing or good thing, depending on how you look at it. You can be looked at from both directions. But there's an awful lot of what ifs in there too. It's not just simple as, okay, you can do it now, we're just gonna wash our hands of it. It's not gonna work that way.
I would rather that there was a federal decision and then that the states had to go through and do their own regulations, kind of thing. I think we see a repositioning of the population along those lines, much as we did when there was a huge influx in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm not going to be so naive as to say I don't want any regulation, because obviously I want somebody to test this stuff and make sure it's pure. I want to make sure nobody's poisoning us. I want to make sure when we're told we're getting X dose, that's exactly what we're getting is X dose. Nobody gets hurt because of something stupid, stuff like that, obviously. So
fair.
Yeah, but that's more of product liability, wouldn't it be?
Well, that had the regulation. We're talking about federal, so then we're talking about FDA.
Gotcha.
But I'm not sure that barbecue wants to push past midnight on this. That could do it.
I don't care.
Right on.
So I was going to say it should be like ammo. If you're going to go to the store and buy, you know, federal 148 grain, then you know you're buying. You should be expecting to buy federal 148 grain. But if you go to the gun show and you buy a guy's sack of reloads, and you get a weird plus or minus to that reload, you're like, well, I bought a sack of reloads. So it should be the same way with weed. If you want to buy weed that's 10% whatever or to 100% whatever, I don't know what the numbers are, or if you want to go buy it off of some guy and get what you get, I think you should be able to do either one.
So since booze is legal, I should just be able to go buy some from you.
No,
Yes.
exactly. I think that's a good way to say it too. Right? If you want to go to the bar and buy tequila brand name, with the worm in it, go for it. But if you want to,
God only knows if you
moonshine,
got all the wood alcohol out of there or not. I got to take your word for it.
No,
If you
exactly.
kill me, you just kill me.
But I'm just saying, if you want to be able to buy that, I think you should be able to buy either one. As long as you know what you're buying, then that's good to go.
We would like to say,
I just
don't
like
ask
the
for
gun.
tequila night.
I'll do another one. The tamale at the Taco Bell, or the tamale with the little lady at the store selling tamales on the way in.
Well, that's legal.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what you're getting. You like, hey, I'm getting a real tamale, or I'm getting
Every time you buy a tamale for
got
the
one.
stranger, you're taking your life into your own hands, man.
I got one. Buying fireworks from a general stand or buying one from the back of a Chinese market.
I missed all that because of the police. I'm jealous of their siren though.
This is DEA, man.
They're coming to take us away.
What was the question though?
Far out, man.
I don't know. Did we lose him? No, he's still here.
I'm still here.
Who?
Is there an
Words
owl in
left a
here?
while ago.
So, what do we think? Are we still hammering this?
Hammer time?
I think we solved it.
All right. Who wants to do a bracket?
Oh snap!
Is it a
Weed
music
bracket?
bracket?
No.
Weed bracket?
It's not a music
Well,
bracket.
it's kind of a weed and guns bracket.
How so?
So you have to choose whichever firearm you think you would most likely find a stoner owning.
Okay.
I already know the top answer.
We've
Eugene
got
Stoner?
we got a
Nice.
Mossberg 500, Remington 870, High Point C9, Smith & Wesson Governor, because needed to make it obscure and not be the Taurus Judge. Jennings J9, Charter Arms Bulldog, Rome RG3, Raven Arms MP25, Benelli M3, a side-by-side shotgun, over-under shotgun, a 1022, a Model 60 Marlin, Maverick 88, North American Arms Pug, and an SKS.
I own almost all of those.
What year is it?
The SKS.
No, the year that what is this? A weed owner has?
Yep. What would you most likely believe a stoner to own if it only have one of these? So,
The stoner
Gary.
probably got all that shit.
go ahead and tell me when to stop hitting shuffle.
Stop shuffling.
Oh, I thought
That
you were
wasn't
scrolling
Gary.
up and down. I was thinking this was a 32 bracket.
Nope, just 16.
Stop shuffling.
I said Gary,
It's like half a bracket.
as in Gizzard.
He wants you to tell him to stop.
Stop, damn it. Jesus Christ.
He's like, what the? All right, so first up we have Maverick 88 against the Jennings J9. DJ.
The audience will vote for me.
G-Webs.
Both of these fit the bill. So I guess the 9.
J9. Cobalt.
88.
One for the 88.
Kind of depends if they're in the city, maybe.
Gary.
Think how much weed you could hide inside an 88. Yeah, let's go with the 88.
Well, that's a good point. In that movie, you smoke out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, use it as a bomb.
Full Metal Jacket? No. Yeah? No.
No, that was in Platoon.
Oh, snap. One for sure. Audience is on J9 at this point.
Gun for a stoner. I'm going to have to go with the 88. So, do we have any votes coming in out there from the text chat?
J9.
Got Guns and Water with the 88 and Pack Rat's Attic and Ozzy Osbourne for the J9.
So, the 88 is going to move on. Next, we have over-under shotgun versus Ruger 1022. DJ.
1022.
One for the 1022. G-Webs.
The over-under because somebody traded for it.
Like it. I like it. Cobalt.
Oh, this one's going to be hard because they could have inherited both from their dad, even though they didn't really want it. But they also could have gone to the store and wanted something that was like home defense capable, but still had decent magazine capacity. So I'm going to go for 1022.
1022.
Neither one of them really makes a noise.
Gary
would want a noise.
Shotgun is always a correct answer.
One for the over-under. Oh, you guys are going to make me be the tiebreaker here. I feel like a stoner would be more apt to have the 1022. Like they could just do some cooler shit with it.
The audience seems to agree with you as well.
Excellent. So next we have North American Arms Pug against an SKS.
This is obvious.
DJ.
SKS.
SKS. G-Webs?
No way they ever having a pug. It's an SKS for sure. It's in a corner. And they don't know how to load it really.
Cobalt.
They're definitely a member of SRA, so SKS.
That's 3 for the SKS. Gary.
As someone who carries a pug every day, I'm going to speak up for the pug.
I put this on here just for you.
Good man.
You're welcome, but I did not see it getting trounced the way it did in the first round. Neat little gun.
People just don't carry it.
Well, it's not even that. I can't vote against the SKS in this case.
You've never shot my pug, have you?
I don't know if I've ever gotten to shoot your pug. No.
I take it to Thunder on a Prairie. You should shoot it.
So, what was the consensus from the text chat here?
SKS, but fuck the SRA.
I also posted a new picture for you whenever you get bored.
I see a 3. I see a 3 for the 1022 and 2 for SKS.
Nice.
Oh,
so,
1022's there.
What's that?
I totally didn't even look up to see the 1022 votes.
Oh. So next we have a Remington 870 versus Rome RG3. DJ.
I vote on behalf of Woods in this one for the Rome. And myself, if necessary.
It's a neat little gun. G-Webs.
The shotgun. I don't think anybody's gonna accidentally buy one of those. They don't respect it. It looks like a starting pistol too much.
Cobalt.
I just looked up the Roan. From what I saw on the internet, it is a starter pistol, so I'm going to have to vote 870.
Oh, it's a literal Saturday Night Special. Like, it's definitely starter pistol-ish. Or adjacent.
Gary.
Give me the 870.
One for the 870.
Go big or go home.
I am voting for the Rome only because, again, like this is for, what would you believe a stoner most likely to have? And that stereotypical idea of a stoner, often that they are not loaded with money or anything. Not that you need to be loaded to get a Remington 870, but when you're talking about price for each of these firearms, they could get like probably 4 or 5 of the Roams for 1,870. So that's why I voted for the Roam. But Remington 870 moves on. What was the idea from text chat?
870.
One for RG3, 2 for 870, 3 for 870, or no, sorry, just 2.
Would just like to remind folks that this is what you believe a stoner would most likely have. So next we have the Mossberg 500 taking on a Raven Arms MP25. This is a little 25 ACP pistol, folks. DJ.
Mossberg.
What size barrel do you think, if they had one? Or what length barrel, I should ask, not size.
All the way down to the mag. Like 18 and a half.
Thought off.
Yeah.
No, 18, yeah, 18 and a half. Yeah.
But on an 870, I don't know how far under the barrel that is.
No, it's like 14 on an 870 if you cut it to
yeah.
If you don't put an extension
okay.
on it, because you put an extension on it to bring it out to 18 to make it look cool. Anyway, yeah.
So 18 and a half, stay legal.
Here's what happens on an 870. If you don't know what you're doing, you're a felon, because if you cut it like where it looks cool or where you think you should, it's like 16 inches. Yeah, 14.
I was going to say 18 is legal. Most people just go 18 and a half just for safety.
Always add a half inch and say you never know when that half inch is going to be needed.
Yeah, but we're talking about gun people. We're talking now about a stoner who's just looking at it and like, I've seen this in the movies. This looks about right. This looks cool, and you're going to cut it kind of like 2 inches in front of the mag ends, like the DJ saying.
So G-Webs, Mossberg 500 or a Raven MP25?
Well, wrong. It should be you should have had the Tech 20. What's that thing called? The Intertech on here.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But because when you said that, whatever the pistol is here, that's what my mind went to, the Intertech. But I think still think a stoner's not going to be. It depends on where you're talking about a stoner. Like you're talking about a stoner in like Indiana on a farm, or you're talking about like a stoner in a city, or you're talking like a stoner.
Whatever your idea of a stoner is. When I think of a stoner, I think of like Cheech and Chong.
I guess, but I'm trying to think like of all the like stoner stereotypes. Like half the time it's like the country, guy who's on a football team and he's like in the back of a pickup truck all the time, and the other half the time it's in like a city. But either way, I still think a shotgun is going to be more like, long hair stoners going to be flipping around a shotgun rather than any kind of pistol. Because they're not really trying to get into gunfights. They just want a gun.
Yeah, because guns are cool. Or I've been calling you Cobalt all night. Black Sheep, whatever the hell the last part of your name is.
Lamont.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you. Black Sheep Lamont. By the way, we need to get you a new logo.
I have one. I just haven't uploaded it to this one, apparently. I thought it links to my YouTube, but not in that way. Mossberg 500.
Gary.
Mossy.
I, too, am voting for the Mossberg. Actually...
Makes a good point. Start off at both ends, because half time, if you're cutting the front end, you're just going to go ahead and cut half the stock off, too.
Right.
Which should be fine. There should be nothing wrong with that. Other than maybe somebody will give you shit for like cutting it at a weird angle or leaving it, not filing it or something. Other than that, it should be fine.
So next we have a Charter Arms Bulldog. That is a 44 special, not 44 mag, folks. A 44 special, taking on a Marlin Model 60. DJ.
This is tough, bro.
Right?
The Model 60.
Model 60. All right. I had a feeling that's the way you're probably going to go. G-Webs.
Is that a 22 rifle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Every single person I've ever known owns that rifle, except for like me and one other person. So
I got one.
Seriously, everybody I know owns that thing. So either that or 1022. I'm in the 1022 club, but everybody owns that gun.
It depends on what it is. Either your 1022 or your Model 60.
I've never known anybody that smokes marijuana, but I know everybody that I know owns that gun. So somehow that's what it is.
Cobalt.
It's a Model 60 because they inherited it from their grandfather.
Model 60. Gary.
Not only are they going to have a Model 60, they're going to have it aimed at you as soon as you get in the end of their driveway. So, Model 60. Yeah.
Gary says Model 60. I'm going with the Charter Arms Bulldog because 44. I don't care if it's a special or if it's a mag. It could be an auto mag. Don't care. It's 44, baby. So next we have the Smith & Wesson Governor taking on Benelli M3. DJ.
I defer to the audience.
Defer to the audience. G-Webs.
I don't know where they're ever going to come up with this option because I'm assuming all guns come to a stoner. They don't go to a gun shop. But I'm going to say you're saying the governor, but basically the judge.
Like I said, I wanted to make it a little obscure.
But I think anybody who's like, oh, cool, like anybody who doesn't know much about guns is going to go, oh, cool. And that shotgun's too much for most people.
It's true. The reason I like the Benelli M3 so much is the ability to switch between semi-auto and pump.
So most people look at that and look at it like a math test. They're like,
right.
I don't want that.
I'm gonna disagree with G-Webs on the cool factor. I've known people who may partake in some interesting hobbies who think the Smith & Wesson Governor is the best gun ever made. So, Governor.
Yeah, you know some weird people.
Yeah, they're freaks.
Gary.
Well, it's going to depend on whether or not the person in question is in Alabama, because, as you know, get ready for this. In Birmingham, they love the governor.
They do.
Oh man.
Brew, brew, brew.
Let's go with the governor on that note.
Going with the governor. I am voting for the Benelli M3 because, again, I just love that shotgun. Ability to switch between semi-auto or pump, like, it's awesome. So that being said, what does the text chat say for DJ's vote? Not that it matters because right now the governor is moving on, but
I don't think there's only
Governor.
one.
There's only one vote out there that's specific, and Pack Rat's Addict voted for the governor.
well, thank you very much, Pack Rat. You are a gentleman and a scholar. I hope that you win Gears of Gary's next giveaway. So next, what's that?
Then, as you were saying that, we got another vote to tie it out.
Oh, to tie it up out there. Well, we already moved on.
It doesn't matter. Guns and Water says he has a governor. I'm counting that as a vote.
No.
So next we have the High Point C9 versus a side-by-side double-barrel shotgun. DJ.
High Point.
G-Webs.
I would 100% think the side-by-side.
Cobalt.
High Point C9, seen it in real life.
And they're going to say cowboy stuff every time they fiddle with it.
Gary.
Actually, nowadays, they'd probably call it the Yeet Cannon.
They might.
C9.
Oof. This hurts my heart. Because it does not matter how I vote here, which is for side-by-side double barrel. I'm going to say absolutely love those.
Way cooler gun, but High Point wins it out there too. You got one vote for the shotgun though.
Guns and Water says with $100 bill hydro drip.
That's true. Or like some kind of weed leaf hydro drip, weed leaf and $100 bill hydro drip.
Oh, that's great.
Or blinged out with little diamond things.
Dollar bill, y'all.
So we're moving on.
All right.
Where we got the Maverick 88 taking on the Ruger 1022. DJ.
Maverick.
Ooh, one for the Maverick. G-Webs.
There's a 1022 there, but it's broken. But there's also a Maverick 88 there. Something spilled on it.
Mm-hmm. So is that a vote for the Maverick?
Yeah. I'm just saying there's also a broken other one there.
Yeah. Cobalt.
88, it serves as a secondary bong.
Gary.
If James Garner were here, I think he'd vote for Maverick. So
I think so too. I am also voting for the Maverick 88. Love the Ruger 1022. But again, Maverick 88 versus a 1022, which one would a stoner have? I could see a stoner having the cheap shotgun, which just happens to be like probably one of the most rugged shotguns ever made by a complete accident. So next we have an SKS taking on the Remington 870. DJ.
870.
One for the 870. G-Webs.
SKS.
One for the SKS. Cobalt.
870.
Ooh, 870. Gary.
870, cuz. Get ready. America!
Oh, nowhere close to ready for that. Chat. You got me.
Damn.
I don't even know where the hell that
Do I
screen
have to do it myself? I have to do it myself? Okay.
Maybe I'll get it. Where the hell is the options for that?
I don't know.
Oh, I think I found it. Nope. What the fuck? Erica, fuck yeah. We'll just do it that way, right? Oh, there it is. I found it. There we go. Here we go.
America, fuck yeah.
Love it. Love it.
That's a throwback.
So that was Gary's vote. I, too, am voting for the SKS, but my vote does not matter as the SKS falls short of the Remington 870. That's going to be an interesting matchup this next round. So now we have the Mossberg 500 taking on the Marlin Model 60. DJ.
Model 60.
Model 60. G-Webs.
I don't know. I felt like the SKS should have taken the whole thing, but there's too many shotguns on this, so I'm going to go with that 60 also.
Model 60.
Because I feel like beat up shitty SKS is like the thing that's going to stay in the corner.
Yeah.
Mossberg.
Mossy. I say, I feel like Woods is out there sweating right now because all it takes is one vote and the Mossberg 500 is out of here, which would be really interesting seeing as the Maverick 88 would then move on further than the Mossy. Gary.
60.
Model 60. Look at that.
Put a stake in it, man.
Model 60 takes it. I am voting for the Mossy 500. I actually have a 590. Actually, I have two 590s because I've got the Shockwave as well. What's the difference between the 500 and the 590? 590 takes 3.5 inch loads. And again, whenever you can get that extra half inch, why not?
That's what she said.
Exactly.
I thought, can one of them take pistol grips or nothing? Or something like that? Or they both can?
Both can.
Both can.
Can they one of them do magazines? Is like one of them like an 870 and one of them isn't? Like one of them has a twisty thing and one of them is an open thing for the magazine. I thought there's some other difference.
Model 60's tube magazine. Is that what you're?
Yeah, maybe the end of the mags. The big difference, one of the other big differences that I always like the Remington over the Mossbergs is that the Mossbergs terminate at the end of their magazine, their tubular magazine. So they're a pain in the ass to put an extension on. Where the Remington, the barrel already is a circle. So all you got to do is take that cap off and you can just screw a massive magazine extension on there. So if you're going to leave it at 18 inches, like we all did back in the old days, you can put like 6 new, tube up there and put like 6 more rounds in your gun at least. So, even if you got to keep it at 18 and a half inches, at least you can put a ton of ammo in it real easy. And a Mossberg, you had to buy a new barrel to do that, basically.
So next, we have the Smith & Wesson Governor taking on the High Point C9. DJ.
High Point.
High Point. G-Webs.
Governor.
He wants to go Bonita. Cobalt.
Metric, because they got a gram in one pocket and a 9 in the other.
Interesting. Gary.
Yeet, bitches.
Gary, again, being the decider on what moves on or not, making my vote null and void, but I, too, am voting for the C9.
The text chat agrees.
2-1.
Say, again, gun that... Really, I think the C9 is one of those guns that doesn't matter what kind of stoner it is. I could see that stoner having a high point. But that was the same with an SKS. Doesn't matter what kind of stoner.
Cartel International Smuggler? No way. MP5s or something.
Well, that's exactly why they'd have the C9, because when they got caught, they'd be like, oh, this guy isn't cartel. Reverse psychology. All right, folks, here we go. Maverick 88 versus the Remington 870. DJ.
870.
One for the 870. G-Webs.
88, cheaper.
One for the 88. Cobalt.
Second verse, same as the first. Maverick 88.
Gary.
Well, they could bring it in from Mexico right along with this stuff. Maverick 88.
3 for the 88. You know what? I think stoners wouldn't just be looking for something that was cheap and affordable, but they want it to work. And I've seen too many 870s with feeding problems where you fire the first round, eject it, and 2 rounds will eject from the magazine tube. It's actually a very common issue with 870s. What's that?
My 870 clone does the same.
I've never had that issue.
Mm-hmm. And say, I've seen it a lot.
870s, I've never heard of that before. But
really?
Yeah.
No, I'm dead serious. To say, I've seen it with 4 or 5 of them.
I've only ever had the Express mags, 3 different years of manufacture. So
the only 870 that I personally owned was a Super Mag. Absolutely loved it.
Plus, chicks dig it when you can double eject like that.
Right?
Pop twice for the same price.
But yeah, it's actually a fairly common issue that they have happen.
I like Guns and Waters' comment, and the C9 still works because he couldn't figure out how to take it apart.
And previous comment that it's still broken because took it apart.
So next we have the Model 60 taking on the High Point C9. DJ.
The high point.
One for the high point. G-Webs.
What are they again?
Model 60 or the high point C9?
Oh, I'm still saying that most of them are going to have a rifle over a pistol. They're not trying to get into gunfights. They just got a rifle because they think it's cool, or they're shooting out the window or something.
Plus ammo's cheap, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they probably got one of them like milk things of ammo since they were a kid that they're still shooting out of.
Good possibility. Cobalt.
Grandma gave me this when I was 14 or something.
Right.
Yeet cannon. I know my audience.
Yeet cannon. Gary.
Yeet.
Yeet cannon. I also am voting for the high point because, again, they just friggin' run. And again, when you're talking about cost effectiveness, all that, it's pretty hard to find anything much cheaper than a high point, especially if it's a used one. So here we are in the finals, folks. We have the Maverick 88 taking on the High Point C9. Which one do you think a stoner would be most likely to own? DJ.
The high point.
High Point. G-Webs.
Shotgun in the corner.
Shotgun in the corner. I like it. Cobalt.
Yeet, baby, yeet.
Gary.
He's going to be mad as hell. He's going to be holding this up above his head sideways, and he's be going, yeet, bitch.
Yeah. It's like Gizzard was there almost. Like it could feel the detail in that description.
I know.
And if it don't go off, he's going to throw some bitch at you.
I am voting for the Maverick 88, but it does not matter, as Gary was the deciding vote for the high point to move on. So there you have it, folks. What is the most likely firearm from this list for a stoner to own? A high point C9.
Bonus question: which ones would they have? Both of them, the C9 and the 88.
So
Or
now,
I guarantee,
Or one of the
they're
22s.
going to have both of them. Yeah, they probably have
Right.
2 C9s, one for each hand.
you go up to that stoner who has this yeet cannon, as you all like to say it, and then you tell them, want to know a fact or an interesting piece of trivia, and you go, Charlie Brown owns that company.
Yep.
Because the guy that owns that company's name is Charlie Brown.
Yes.
You ask them if they call it a C9 or a yeet cannon.
They blew it by not having the yeet out as quickly as they could.
Yeah.
They stretched it too long.
All right.
Ooh, almost like they didn't want to keep going with it.
Cobalt, please tell us something that you believe and give us some closing plugs if you would. Or, I mean, Black Sheep Lamont. Sorry.
I believe that romantic partners should be allowed to protect their Hempstead with fully automatic grenade launchers.
There you go. Anything you wish to plug?
Stay armed, stay vigilant.
Like it. G-Webs.
So if the Department of Distribution of Machine Guns is going to be handing out M203 under barrel grenade launchers, which I'm a big fan of, the dilemma is, I think about the shortest you can go is a 14.5-inch barrel on top of that, and that's frustrating. So I wish they would issue the little H&K grenade launchers that are about half as long, so you could go down to like a 12-inch barrel maybe on top.
Yep.
I believe I'll stand on that. Thanks
Like
for
it.
hosting.
Absolutely. Thanks for jumping in. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Freedom.
I like it.
I'm a fan of freedom. I'm pro freedom.
As am I. DJ, anything you wish to plug, sir? And please tell us something that you believe.
I believe that there's no presumption of danger with weed, that opioids, benzos, and stimulants are a far worse problem for our society. That there should not be a blanket ban or any legislation that doesn't address specifically time, place, and manner when it comes to marijuana and firearms. That the Second Amendment is not a conditional privilege, and that everybody should swing by the A Great Start Shooting School channel on Saturday evenings for a discussion about mental health awareness and violence prevention. Thanks for hosting, BBQ.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for jumping in. Gizzard Gary, please tell us something that you believe, and let us know what you have going on.
Well, I believe in the design of our forefathers who believed that government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people. And I also believe that he who governs least governs best. So take that however you will. And I'll have my show Monday night, Foul Territory, 9 p.m. Central Time, right on the Gizzard Gary channel. Thanks for having me.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Thanks for jumping in. Something that I believe. Can you believe that we gained 2 people while doing closing plugs and haven't lost anybody according to the counter for StreamYards?
I think we had a
Do
pretty
shows
good
about weed every week.
Well, we didn't yell at each other unnecessarily, and I think it was a pretty good show. Good insights.
So,
barbecue was here.
I believe that I failed to ruin my own show.
Oh, I believe that you didn't put up that last picture I sent you.
And I believe we were.
Oh, hold up.
The barbecue version of it.
I think it needs more amendments.
It does.
And those are all vegan slurry burgers.
Why have we got those burgers on the grilled buns and everything? You're going to burn the hell out of that bread.
Why is the Fourth Amendment there twice? We need the 10th.
Oh, have you seen the thing where the McDonald's guy is eating a burger and he calls it a
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's
hilarious.
I already had my lunch.
Did one. The guy takes a big ass bite out of it.
And BBQ, I wanted to let you know that tonight you were joined in the text chat by Gunpowder Beauty, New York Outcast. Grim Reaper Reviews was out there, so was M. Gabriel, Pack Rat's Attic, Ron 2A Matters, Vanessa Kitty, Corey with the story, Ozzy Orsborn, Bob Gnarly, Old Dirty Shinobi, Guns and Water, TJ, Fishing, and Hunting.
Very nice. I thank them all for being. What's that?
Pat and a Bong was on earlier.
Yep, Pat in a Bunker.
And on panel we had BBQ, Woods, G-Webs, Gizzard, Cobalt, Pat Bunker, and myself.
Subliminal messaging.
Well, if you say it, don't say it next time. Just have it happen.
Right. So, with that, be sure to check out the Mouse Party this Saturday night, Sunday morning, however you wish to look at it, because it takes place at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. So depending on what time zone you're in, it will be either Sunday morning or Saturday night. That being said, also go over to DM Foss's channel. He's got a merch store hiding there somewhere in his links, and buy some Mouse Man swag, because you can't live without that.
I bought a crystalline 3D puzzle. That's amazing. It's 14 levels deep, 17,000 pieces. They're very small pieces, but it's worth it.
I like it. So with that, folks, the link is still posted out there if you wish to jump in to the after chat, shoot the shit with us because they're so super cool. We might even give some autographs. We'll shake some baby, sign some tits. You know how it is, living the American dream. But with that, we're out of here.
We would like to thank our friend and channel sponsor, GearWebsites.com. GearWebsites.com is your home for the greatest two-way swag. But instead of me telling you, take it from Gun Websites himself.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.